So if we can teach our children, hey, we're going to be value hunters in this home, that is the number one greatest asset you could ever give them. It's an unfair advantage for the rest of their life. So you want to know the number one strategy of the top 100 families in the world? It's teach your kids to create value first, not money. Because money is a store of value. You have to go back to first principles. If you focus on value creation, material value, which you create and produce in the world, solving problems, financial reward is the reward of that. Emotional value, good friendships, how you think, how you feel. Spiritual value, how you love, how you live, mindset, lifting you up above your issues to a higher calling, to God, getting out of your ego, and like that's spiritual value. So if we can teach our children, hey, we're going to be value hunters in this home, that is the number one greatest asset you could ever give them. It's an unfair advantage for the rest of their life.
When you get old, Mom and Dad, and you start looking back, it's not going to matter a whole lot about how much money you made. And it's not going to matter a whole lot whether you got a big promotion or not. But I'll tell you what's going to matter a lot. And that is if your kids love you. The older you get, the more you realize the main stuff that life is made up of is not money. The main stuff that life is made up of is relationships. And the number one relationships of life are family relationships. And if your kids love you and care for you and respect you as you get old, you'll realize there is nothing in this wide world that can take the place of that. This Bible does not say a wealthy son makes a glad father. It says a wise son makes a glad father.
There are 4 things you need to know before you go out into the world. You remember these things and you'll be the best person you can be. First, look at this pencil. We know that in order for it to become a useful pencil, that from time to time, again and again, it's going to have to go through a resharpening. Well, if this pencil could feel, we can imagine how painful that would be. But that's what it takes for it to be a useful pencil. Life is much the same. Painful experiences and challenges come to us all. But it is through these opportunities that we build character and we grow. Second is to keep in mind that we'll be able to correct many of the mistakes you make along the way, just like this eraser. So if we learn from our mistakes, they're not mistakes. They're lessons we can use to do better the next time around. And third, just like this pencil, every place where you are used, so to speak, you leave your mark. You're writing your own story. Think of stumbling blocks as stepping stones and never stop writing. And fourth, always remember, the most important part of you is what's inside.
People don't know how to raise children. When my kid came to me and he said, "Daddy, a wheel came off my toy car," and he gave it to me. And I said, "So it did," and I threw it in the garbage. And I went back to my magazine. And then I washed that lower lip part off. Then he started crying. I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "You throwed it away." I said, "I get your baby toys where the wheels don't come off." He said, "Well, maybe I can fix it." So I gave it to him again. And he's sitting on the couch and he gets it together. In just a minute or two, gets it together. Then you pick up. "How did you do that? It's wonderful." He says, "I'm not that little." And but how did you do it? See the hole in the wheel, yes? See the piece of iron sticking up? I put the hole on and pushed it. I said, "That's wonderful." But you say, "Here, let Daddy do it, let Mommy do it." You produce a blob. You know what that means? You solve all your kids' problems. You have to put things upon them.
When you're raising a kid, there are 4 seasons. The 0 to 5, that's where you're just teaching them discipline. 5, all the way over to about 12, that's where you're training them. 12 to 18, that's where you're coaching them. 18 and over, that's where you're their friend. Do not make the mistake of trying to be their friend when you should be training them. Do not make the mistake to try to be their friend when you should be disciplining them. Don't make the mistake that you ought to be their friend when you should be their coach. Don't make it, because here's what happens sometimes. Sometimes, because you're not getting stuff from your spouse, you look for that kind of support and love from your kid, which therefore makes you want the connection with them at an unhealthy level, and you don't even realize it.
Education is more than reading, more than writing, it's more than math. Should first of all teach our children who they are. You see, if you don't know who you are, then you will not know what to do with your life.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what to do with it, then you won't know how to achieve your goals. So Alex Haley raised the question of who am I? And he asked his mother, father, aunts, and his uncles who he was. Some people told Alex they were Negro. Some told Haley they were colored. Others told Alex they were black. Some said they were Afro-American. Some told Alex they were African. And lastly, some said American. Now, we have the only children and some adults that give 6 different answers to a very simple question like, who am I? Again, you cannot teach a child that is, first of all, not know who he is. It's more important than reading, math, and science. So we began to ask ourselves, why do Germans call themselves Germans? Why do Chinese call themselves Chinese? And we were told there's a land called Germany. There's a land called China. So let's go back to a world map. Germans are Germans, land called Germany. Chinese are Chinese, land called China. Let's go to a world map. Is there a place in the world called Negro land? What about color land? What about black land? What about Afro-American land? There's only 2 answers left, Africa and America. But be honest, what comes to most of our children's mind when they hear the word Africa? Tarzan? Run around, no clothes on, be honest. And what about America? Red, white, and blue and apple pie? That's because of this word right here, which is nothing but his story. You didn't know that?
Harvard did a 75-year study on the connection between chores and success later in life. And the study concluded that children who do chores from a young age are more successful later in life and happier. But the most surprising connection of all was the connection between chores and self-esteem, as in the children tasked with doing chores presented as more confident adults. In fact, another study looked at 10,000 children and concluded that children who do chores are more confident and competent. So many parents don't like to see their kids struggle, so they solve problems for them. But when you don't let them overcome adversity, you're really taking away their self-esteem. So you should set up their environment in a way that allows them to do as much as possible for themselves.
As me say, me use the things that my mother narrate me. And then in the long run, me prove me, say, in love me more than when me even think. You see me, because in the long run, me see it come back to me and show to me, say, you know, say, mother rate more anything else, because he knows, say, in the long run, you're going to need this. You see me, you're going to need this, because you say, if you don't implement that, it's like you have a tree and you want to bend it when it's old. It can't work. You can't teach your kids discipline in the moment. You teach them discipline before. So the tough love have to grow kids and grow business and grow life and grow relationship and grow everything. Maybe, you know, listen, soft love, it's the problem. I make kids spoil, I give them, they make adolescents behave like a fool because they're not all accountable, they don't deal with things serious. You give me? People, you need to do that. Your family need to discipline their kids with the tough love. Remember, you know, tough love doesn't mean you don't love them. It's just you're implementing the love in the principle way, in the way how to make people develop in a way where they can be established in a bigger moment in their life going up. You don't have to worry about them. If you implement kids in a way and then grow up to be 16, 17, 18, you don't even have to worry about them in a certain levels again, because they already been molded. They already been molded and planted firm in a life, put into place. Even them youths are right now, if them not get it, a problem. And that's why word is like this. As we're saying, as we're speaking here, kids are cut up, they want to stab up, they want to school and way. If the tough love they implement from basically the starting point, none of them something would not make me guarantee that, because enough time at them development that my mom used to do, and that saved me from enough things. You see me? I see some youth in the street, I see them never get it. And them need it, them never get it, because more time how them approach me and how them talk to me, and we just say them never really brought up the right way them brought up. Me, I bring more respect to them as a bigger person for them, as a bigger man for them. Me, I bring more discipline and more respect more than with them I give me. So me know say, listen, they're not really brought up, and that's the problem in life. Full of the riveting things to show them say, listen, my boy, this is the way how things go. And this is the way of life still. And if you don't want to do that, you are going to pay. You know, parents, if you don't want to do that to your kids, you're paying a long run. You have to pay. Because you're going to grow and spoil brat. And in the long run, you're going to realize all of your work where you put in and all of the things them where you used to do to your kid and check so they won't come out to be the best kid we expect. It's not going to happen. It not going to happen. You understand me? That not going to happen.
What do you plan to do? We want you to save it for us, so we can be rich like you.
Well, saving is the first important step, no doubt. But money is something you should learn more about. I'm not the richest duck in the world today because I just salted my money away. And that's how I became rich, making the little slices grow. Money shouldn't be idle and must be put to work, you know.
Oh, yeah? How about all that idle dough you got stashed away?
Oh, no, lads. This is just petty cash. Moves in and out each day. If I sat on my money, I might just as well be stranded on a desert island for all the good 'twould do me. I couldn't eat it, couldn't wear it, couldn't use it. Money should never stagnate, but like ocean currents, circulate. Like the ocean currents control the world's weather, you see, circulating money controls the economy. Money must keep moving to fulfill its obligation.
And if you squeeze it too tight, you'll stop its circulation.
That's a bunny one, and how true.